When life throws challenges your way, it's natural to feel stuck, frustrated, or even a little lost, especially if you're not where you thought you'd be in your life. Maybe you're navigating the fallout of a big life change, or you're starting to realize that things that worked for you before just don't anymore. Whatever the case, it's okay to stop and acknowledge those feelings. In fact, it's necessary. Before you can move forward, it's important to take a moment and honestly acknowledge where you're at right now. And no, this isn't about beating yourself up or getting stuck in regret. It's about looking at your current situation with clarity and compassion. Think of it like hitting pause to get your bearings before figuring out your next step. Otherwise, it's like trying to follow a map without knowing your starting point. This kind of reflection isn't always easy. It can bring up truths you'd rather avoid or force you to let go of old ideas and expectations that no longer fit your reality. And while that can feel confronting, it's also where the magic happens. It's empowering to look at where you are, not with judgment, but with intention to understand and grow. As Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you do know better, do better. Our life and our financial goals are often shaped by a mix of conscious intentions and unconscious beliefs we've picked up over time. From a young age, we absorb ideas about money, success, and security from our families, culture, and community. These influences, whether helpful or limiting, form the narrative that guides our decisions, often without us even realizing it. How grief appears in everyday life. One theme that comes up again and again in my own life and with the clients that I work with is grief. Grief doesn't just come from losing someone you love. It can show up when you let go of an old dream, a former identity, or a version of a life you thought you'd have. Grief doesn't always show up the way we expect. It can be sneaky. Sometimes it's loud and all-consuming, impossible to ignore. Others, it lingers quietly in the background like a shadow, influencing our thoughts, our choices, and our behaviours in ways we don't even realise. Psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross introduced the well-known 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Over time, this model has been expanded to include additional emotions like shock, guilt, loneliness, and even reconstruction. But one of the biggest misconceptions about these stages is that they all happen in a neat linear order, that you move through them one by one and then come out the other side. In reality, grief doesn't work like that. Kubler-Ross herself later clarified that these emotions come in waves, overlapping, repeating, and sometimes hitting you when you least expect it. One thing I've learned is that grief, transformation, and financial growth are all interconnected. Doing the work in one area often creates ripple effects in the others. Understanding these stages won't take away the discomfort, but it can help you make sense of what you're feeling and remind you that you're not alone. What you're experiencing is completely valid, and no matter how overwhelming it feels, it's part of the process of finding your way forward.